Hey everybody, welcome to I Am No Expert, Episode 8, Round 8 I should say, in Valencia, chronicling the first season in career mode of F1 2011. My name is Jack Acid and I will be your driver and commentator as usual for this episode. And this will be my first race in Valencia using no racing line, manual gears and cockpit view, which has been an uphill battle to say the least. I actually have mixed feelings about this track. It's pretty fun. Not always fun to watch on TV, but reasonably fun to race. As you can see, my team objective is to finish 6th. And let's take a quick look at the starting grid. Fernando Alonso on pole as opposed to one of the Red Bull. And you can see that I am right there at P11, and my teammate Sutil qualified 14th. And no real surprises at the bottom of the grid. So we'll take a quick look at our setup now. Yeah, I believe that starting next year they're going to start alternating Catalonia and Valencia. There's only going to be one Spanish Grand Prix, and I'm personally in favor of that. I know that Catalonia has got a long storied history, but you know, the fact that the pole sitter or second place has won the race the last, I don't know, several years. I don't know. They're just, neither track is especially fun to watch in terms of overtakes and you know, a lot of change-ups. So it'll be nice to see them alternate that. I'd like to see Turkey back on the calendar personally. And some decisions. I could start on the options, but running P11, I'm going to roll the dice a little bit and go ahead and start on the primes. And we'll see if that benefits me in any way, shape, or form. I like having the options at the end of the race personally, and if I qualify outside the top 10, I usually do that, but it also depends on the condition of my tires and you know how difficult qualifying was in terms of tire wear. So some good news for the team. I finished 5th in Montreal, which is my best result of the year. It was a race that I was actually hoping that I could win. I typically win Montreal. Pretty slow track. I think that's true for most people's experience. But given my change in difficulty, it's not too surprising I didn't win. So let's see what happens here. Very close with Heidfeld, now racing with Schumacher. And Schumacher and Button make a slight contact with Button, trying to get around that more contact with Button. And now let's see if I can take advantage of the very sharp left turn here. Yes, able to get around Button. And now riding P6 with Massa. That's a very tricky first corner there. I don't know how many times I've gone wide and hit the wall there, as I'm sure most people have. Oh, very slow eye through here. Slight contact with Hamilton, but able to... Oh, let's see if we can get around Hamilton here at the hairpin. He's pushed off track, a little bit of contact made, but up to P3. So a little dodgy, no question about that, but a better start than I could have anticipated running P3 here. Let's see if I can catch up with Vettel on this pretty slow corner for the AI. You can see that I'm able to get a lot closer to him, but of course you get around the rest of the circuit and the cars start to really stretch out, so getting up to P2 on this track is probably going to take something special, but of course it's only lap 1. And of course, even though I'm running P3, that doesn't make me the fastest car on the track. You can see Hamilton charging very hard, and as long as I don't go wide on this hairpin here, able to keep him behind me for now. I love this little series of corners. These are a lot of fun, those little sweep corners. Take that a little too slow. It should be in 6th gear by the time you come around there, and you can see Hamilton is still very close to me, and we'll see if I'm able to avoid going wide here. Pretty easy for me to do that, and Hamilton has a look on the inside, but he's not going to get around, so able to keep him behind me heading into lap 2. But of course I got to keep it on the rails for this dreaded turn 1, or at least dreaded for me. I typically go wide here pretty often, but I'm able to stay on line there. So now skipping ahead to the middle of lap 2, still competing with Hamilton for 3rd position. And I don't know why, but this corner gives me fits. You can see I go very wide there. Oh, very slight contact with Hamilton. Let's see if I can stay with him at the hairpin. Oh, I brake a little late and contact with him, kind of push him off the track. Boy, that was really aggressive. But I did not mean to. I was braking and trying to slow down. I was going to let him go through there, but it was a little too late. So I guess you can call it Massa's revenge if you want to. And you can see the massive train of cars that I'm holding up. Hard to count how many there are, but there's a lot. I'm basically holding up the entire field. But hopefully we can expand that out as the race goes on. Now skipping ahead to lap 5. And I've done nothing. to improve the gap to Hamilton, but that's okay. I've grinded out a few laps, so that can only help. Hopefully I can ride this out until the pit stops, even if I am holding up the field. And now coming up to this dreaded corner again, I brake too late. I can't get it down. Oh, more severe contact with Hamilton this time. Now competing at the pinch hairpin again. This time no contact. I do push him off a little bit, but there was no contact made. That was actually a clean overtake. But again, more contact with Hamilton in the exact same spot, and surprisingly, no warning from the stewards. But I don't believe in complaining, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. Was actually able to lose Hamilton finally in the first round of pit stops, because remember I did start on the prime, so I am staying out a little bit longer. And now I'm trying to stay ahead of Weber, and I'm able to do that. So very, very quick pit stop from the team, 3.9 seconds. That's probably the fastest pit stop I've had in a good number of races now. And to my amazement, here I am running P3. So this is my opportunity for my first podium if I can keep it on track. Oh, contact with the wall, just like I had been worried about the entire race. But no significant damage done. Thankfully, I am out on these cold tires. So a lot of understeer, and that's not going to stop Weber from just absolutely breathing down my neck, so it's going to be up to me to try and stay ahead of him. And looky where we are, able to keep it a little more on line, but still go a little bit wide. But this time no incident, finally able to get through it cleanly and stay ahead of Weber for the time being anyway. And with just over 3 laps to go, I'm definitely feeling the pressure. So now we'll take a look at the fastest lap of the race. As I've mentioned in previous videos, lap 9, lap 10, somewhere in there seems to be typically where I get my fastest lap, sort of my sweet spot, usually a combination of low fuel, or low fuel load I should say, and feeling pretty warmed up on the track. Would love to get my first career podium here, if I can keep it. Oh my god, contact with the wall, no damage done though, no puncture. That was definitely a scary moment. And it also looks like no damage with my wing. Let's see if I handle this corner well. Handled it very cleanly there, and able to stay ahead of Button. And so I actually was able to manage that corner pretty well in a handful of laps, but of course all the key incidents, all the ugly incidents took place around there. So nice to see me keep it on the rails here. I really, really want this podium. But Jensen Button is pushing very, very hard, and let's see if he's able to get around me at any point here. And right now I'm able to stay ahead of him pretty well. That's kind of a tricky little corner. I think you can take it in 3rd gear and kind of roll around it. That was a big breakthrough for me on that particular corner, even though I went a little wide there. In this corner too, actually, very, very easy to run wide there, but towards the end I was able to get it down, and here's those set of sweeps again, just almost hitting the wall. Little acceleration of the heartbeat there. And like I mentioned earlier, off and on have problems with this little hairpin at the very end. Jensen takes a look, and he's right with me, but I am able to stay ahead of him. So now we're heading into the final 2 laps, and this is what it all comes down to. This is what I've been racing all season for. And because I've struggled with pressure, I am concerned that something's going to go wrong. And this is a perfect opportunity for something to go wrong. Got to compete with the backmarkers. So we'll see coming up to my favorite corner, which you can see now I'm finally starting to get down. It definitely took me a few laps, but handling it much better. And now coming up behind, I still can't make out who it is. Probably one of the Virgins, or let's take a look here. Oh, I'm D'Ambrosio. So yeah, one of the Virgin cars, and we'll see if we can get around him cleanly. We are on lap 10, got another lap to go after this. You can see my tires were running pretty orange, definitely feeling a little slippery, able to get around the Virgin. And now we'll see who's ahead here. I'm gonna guess it's Glock or maybe Trui. No, it's the Cucumber, the Gherkin, as Vettel would call him. But you know, I got to give Carthaginian credit. He stood up for himself. That was pretty funny. He was kind of like, "Screw you, Vettel." He didn't seem that fazed by it. And very narrow gap there, but I'm able to get around the HRT. And now skipping ahead to the end of lap 11, I've got the podium in sight, going wide here, and my tires are well off. and I am definitely clenching the steering wheel with great fervor at this point. So much so that you can see I actually have failed to turn up my fuel mix for the last lap, which is pretty much a staple tactic as long as you've got a plus lap to go. And still didn't quite get around to gear 6 on that last turn, but I was doing that off and on throughout the race. And so here we go. As long as I don't go wide, I'm going to take it very slow. You can see just how tepid I am coming around that last corner. But there we have it. Alonso finishing right ahead of me, and my first podium of my F1 career, at least on this save file, of course. And the first podium for the team this year. Fastest lap of just over 1:42. And truth be known, I don't finish that high at Valencia very often, so that's a pleasant surprise. Taking a look at the finishing results, Vettel winning the race and Alonso right behind him. And you can see Hamilton finished just behind me. Sutil, my teammate, only gained, it looks like, 1 position. I believe he started 14th, so that's a little disappointing for the team. And looks like every car was able to finish, so that's good news, at least for the budget side of things. So I'm going to leave you with some highlights here. In the next episode, we'll be heading to Great Britain, to Silverstone, and that will be race 9, so pretty much the midway point of the season. I'm sure the team's pretty happy with where things stand right now. Having a hard time imagining myself competing for a title unless I can start winning some races here. But that remains to be seen. That probably will not happen at Silverstone. I don't traditionally race very well there, so we'll have to wait and see. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.